Our essential questions for today are: how do I want to finish my clay piece? What colors will express my idea? We'll start by viewing some examples in a demonstration, then you'll have studio time, then we'll clean up, and last we'll share at the end. The studio habit we're focusing on today is express. Let's start by taking a look at some artist examples. To show you what we're going to be using today. This is acrylic paint and it is already in a liquid form. So you want to make sure you're using sort of a drier brush with it. Since it's already liquid, we don't have to do like we do with the watercolors and the tempered cakes where we have to wet them to get them going. So I'm going to give you the primary colors plus black and white. With the primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue, you can mix these colors to make other colors. So say I wanted to paint something green. I'm going to show you how to scoop these two colors out to make green in another spot so that you don't dirty up your clean. You want to keep your primary colors clean in case you wanted to use, say, the yellow later. Okay, so to make green, I would take my brush and I'm just going to try to use the last half of the bristles. I don't want to come all the way up next to this metal part. This is called the ferrule of the paintbrush. You want to keep the paint on the last half of the bristles so it's easier to wash out. Okay, I'm going to just sort of scoop a little scoop of that yellow, and then I'm going to twist my brush so I can drop it into an empty spot on my tray. Then I'm going to need to clean my brush before I stick it in a new color. That way it'll keep my other colors clean too. So I have some water here. I'm just going to swirl my brush on the bottom of that water cup. I'm going to wipe it along the edge. And I'm going to also kind of dry my brush a little bit onto a paper towel. That way my colors don't get all watery. Okay, so now it just takes a little bit of blue mixed with yellow to make green. So I'm going to just get a little bit of blue onto the tip of my brush. I'm going to put it right in with this yellow that I put in a new spot, and I'm going to mix those up with my brush so that I'll have some green to use. Okay. If you find it is too yellowish, you can just wash your brush, dry it off, dip a little tiny bit more blue into there. If you think it's too bluish, you can do the same thing, wash your brush, dry it off, and add just a little more yellow. But now my two primary colors are still clean in case somebody else at my table or in case I want to use those colors. And also I have made green. Okay, after you've used that, if you want to mix up other colors, you can do that. You're just going to have to wash your brush first. Make sure it's pretty good and washed out. You want to dry it off, kind of wipe it off on your the edge of your cup, and then dry it off on your paper towel. So if I wanted to make orange, I'm going to start out the same way. I'm going to scoop out some of my clean yellow. I'm going to get it on just the edge of my bristles. I'm going to twist my brush in an empty spot. And I'm trying to twist off all that extra paint that I can so that it's so that I'm not putting a loaded brush into the water cup. Okay, gonna wash my brush out really good, wipe it along the edge, dry it off on my paper towel, and now I'm going to dip a little bit of red because red and yellow make orange. I'm gonna dip. See how dark the red and the blue are? You just need a little bit of those colors And then the yellow is really light, so it takes a little bit more of the yellow to make your secondary colors, which are orange, green, and purple. So I'm going to scoop out a little bit of red. If you find you get too much, you can kind of just twist your brush to get rid of some of it. It just takes a little bit of red. I'm going to put it directly into this spot of yellow and mix them up. See if I can make some orange. Okay, same thing as before. If it's a little too light, a little too yellowish, you can add a tiny bit more red. If it's a little too dark red and it doesn't really look orange, you can add a little more yellow to it. Okay, so there is orange. Now I'm going to try to use up all that paint on whatever I'm painting, then wash my brush really well. And it helps if you kind of push it down and swirl it on the bottom of the cup. Wipe it off, dry it off. And then the last color I could mix would be, I could mix red and blue. So you can just scoop them out and dump them into an empty spot. I could also make gray if I mixed black and white. Look how dark that black is. It's super dark, so all I would need is just a tiny touch of black, and then I would scoop out quite a bit of white, because it takes a lot more white depending on how dark you want your gray. If I wanted to make a pink, pink would be a tiny bit of red with some white scooped out. A light blue, you can make that. You can make a light color. Oh, there's the bell. I can make a light color by adding white to any color. I can make a darker color by adding black to any color. Okay, so that is how to use the acrylic paints. Make sure you're drying your brush off. If it's really runny and wet, it's going to make your colors really wet and runny. The other thing we're going to use to color our stuff in today is Sharpies. If you have like a little detail that's kind of small on your clay piece, you can use a Sharpie to color that in. Please make sure you're keeping track of the lid by putting it on the end of your marker. Both things we're using today are permanent. So if you get it on your clothes, it's not going to wash out. Please be very careful when using this that it doesn't get on the table. So we're going to use a placemat underneath our work today. A placemat, even if you're just using Sharpies, you need a placemat under it just in case. All right, have fun coloring your clay piece today.